Greetings. I got to get that panel off my face there, don't I? I don't know why it's still up there. The funny thing is, I can't find it in my panel of things here that I removed. There it is. There you go. Okay. Greetings. Wow. Hope this day finds you safe, healthy, happy, and thriving wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are on the planet. Hope all is well. Hope you're living your best life and just enjoying everything you're doing every moment of every single day. This is the New Thought Media Network. I'm Ken Ludwig. You are watching Vibrant Living, and I'm getting really vulnerable today. I'm going to talk about something very personal that just happened to me. But first, we're going to open up the good book, this thing called You, and see what Ernest Holmes has to say for us. Consciously, I draw upon life, for that is mine. I'm sorry. I'm going to start that all over again because I added a word that wasn't there. Consciously, I draw upon the life that is mine. I know that the fullness of life, which is divine in its origin, eternal in its presence, and forever ever available, is mine. The life of the eternal spirit is my life. The infinite riches of its being are mine to enjoy. The vitality, the wisdom, and the peace of God are mine. I accept them in fullness, in joy, and in peace. And so it is. That's chapter 13, page 112 to 113 of this thing called You. And that's so very true, so simple. That little passage there is that everything is available to us. Everything is part of the existence in which we live, move, and have our being, and it's up to us to just simply accept it. Just say, okay, it's mine. I get it. It's part of me. It's part of my existence. It's part of my enjoyment of life. And if we do that, then we get to experience it that way. By the way, I'm open to comments. I see you folks are out there. We stream in 4 different places, and I'm not always sure what comments actually show up here on my StreamYard feed and what just show up in the place where you're watching from. Like if you're watching from my Facebook page, if you comment there, I don't know if that comment just is on my Facebook page or if it comes here. But I will get notified on Facebook. So if you want to make a comment, make a suggestion, ask a question, please do it. If I don't get to it on the show, I will absolutely get to it shortly thereafter when I look through my social media or through my YouTube account. So anyway, a couple of things I wanted to do here. I wanted to, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Science of Mind magazine. This is, I believe, the longest continuously published magazine in the United States, if not the world. It began publication in 1927. It is almost 100 years old of continuous publication. That's pretty extraordinary. Now, I used to get this magazine all the time. I used to get it every single month, get it delivered. There was a change in the design of the magazine, the kind of the message, if you will, of the magazine, the tenor of it, the tone of it, and I wasn't fond of it. And my beloved Lisa and I, we just stopped getting it. Again, you guys, I can see you're out there. If you want to make a comment, please make a comment. So it's Science of Mind magazine, and while we just returned from an 11-day vacation in Colorado, and while we were there, we went to visit Mile High Church. The 2 Sundays that we were there, we went to the 8 o'clock service at Mile High Church on the first Sunday, and then 10 o'clock service on the second Sunday because we got to see more people that way. And Lisa picked up the Science of Mind magazine, and I didn't realize it when she picked it up, but she's been reading it for the entire month of July. It was the July edition. Today's August 1st, but she was reading it, and I didn't realize it. And so I picked it up like the last week of the month. I've been reading it along with my other dailies that I read after my meditation and prayer work. And what I didn't realize was that the dailies were written by, can you see that? Reverend Joshua Reeves, who is the co-senior minister of Mile High Church. And I consider Josh a friend. We're not close, but we are certainly congenial with each other. We talk to each other and we see each other. When I saw him in the lobby of the church both Sundays, we talked. The the first Sunday we talked for a couple of minutes, and he actually asked if he could acknowledge Lisa and I from the platform, which he did in front of the very small gathering that was at the church that Sunday. But he acknowledged us there from the platform. But he wrote these daily guides. Now, Josh Reeves is, I believe, 43 years old. I think that's right. This is a guy who started out as a practitioner at the age of 18. He was a minister by the time he was like 25 or 26 years old. He is incredibly steeped in metaphysics. He's very, very well read. He's got a mind that reminds me of my old friend, Dr. Lloyd Barrett, who just remembers everything he's read. He remembers everything about everybody. He's great with quotations. He's really, really good. But I started back over the July daily guides. I'm going to read them as the August daily guides. In fact, Lisa and I have to discuss this, but we may go back to subscribing to the magazine because it's changed back to something that I find a little bit more enjoyable. At least what little I've looked at it. I mean, it's amazing how many people that are still writing here many years later. Rocco Errico's posts and Reverend Emile Gavreau. Who else is in here? Mark Waldman, Andrew Newberg, who did all the kind of the psychological connection between spirituality and science, which I always loved reading their stuff. It was always fun. And this is, I'm trying to figure out why this is like this. I don't know this. Oh my goodness. What do you know? I just realized this. This magazine is now 2 months worth. Okay. The front cover is for July. The back cover, you flip the thing upside down and all of a sudden you got the August daily guides. So that's interesting, which I just noticed. But that's, I don't want to sound like I'm making a big pitch for the magazine, but if it is changed back to something that is a little bit more designed for everybody, okay? And I don't want to get too specific about that, but the design previously just didn't feel like it was for everybody. And the daily guides for August doesn't say who's writing them. I guess maybe they're from different people, and they are. They're an assortment of different people. Dr. Margaret Stortz is in here, who wrote many, 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 many daily guides for Science of Mind magazine. David Alt is in here. He's done the same. Jane Beach. Who else? I don't need to read these all to you, do I? Kathy Julene. David Goldberg, the former publisher of the Science of Mind magazine. And let's see. I'm actually just looking here for to see if Reverend Ron Fox is in here, because I remember Reverend Ron Fox is a friend of mine, and he's where is his church is in, I never can get it right. It's on the west coast of Florida. It is but there is one from Ron in here. But Ron always joked with me. He said he used to write every couple of years. He would do a month of daily guides, and he said to me he was pretty sure he must have pissed somebody off because they stopped asking him to do it. But anyway, he's back in there for this. So here's the one from July 1st, which I'm now reading. I'm picking these up for July. And again, I can see you guys are out there. If you got a question, you have a thought, you want to comment, please jump right in. So there's a couple of quotes at the top, and I'm not sure that they matter to me at this point. What I really wanted to read was the July 1st daily guide that Josh wrote. I'm a being forever in flux, held by a changeless reality. That's so much of what this spiritual living stuff is all about. I am forever in flux. And we're all in flux all the time. I am not quite the same person I was 10 years ago. My children grow up under me. At times, it's like one of those soap operas when a change of actor or actress would occur. A narrator comes on and says, the part of so-and-so will now be played by someone else. That's how fast they change. I am nostalgic in this flux because so much is now past, but I am also lost. Excuse me. I can't seem to locate myself in this flux. However, always in my life, I have been able to find myself in the changeless, a sense of timelessness, or on a morning walk.
a sense of connection with spirit while writing down my thoughts, a song that anoints my soul and anoints my heart. I am a being forever in flux, held by a changeless reality. Now, I'm not saying there isn't a lot of wonderful in the flux, but thank God for the changeless. That's what spiritual living is. It is letting who we are become not just informed by the flux, but also by the changeless. It's allowing our living to be informed by the changeless. Zen Center founder Shunryu Suzuki said, "Nothing you see or hear is perfect, but right there is perfect reality." I love that. That's excellent. That's, and it comes back to this thing I've been quoting, I think maybe every show for a couple of months. The idea from Jitta Krishnamurti that I don't mind what happens. That's the changeless and the flux. The changeless is always the reality. The fast and the fast and solid, if you will, reality that we are living, moving, and having our very being. I mean, it's the one presence, the one divine presence that is all there is. The other lots of religions talk about God is everywhere. I like the metaphysical point of view. There's no place where God is not. That's the changeless. But within that changeless, we're in flux. We're all in flux. We're moving about. We're doing the things we do. We're living our lives. And characters change, and even characters that we are used to and fond of, or we're constantly working with, those characters change. That's part of the flux. I wanted to read one more thing here from the Science of Mind 365. This is from yesterday, from July 31st, and it is kind of just the affirmation kind of at the end of the daily guide. Therefore, today I am filled with joy. I let every sense of depression or heaviness depart from my mind, and let my soul be lifted up in song to the giver of all life and to the joy of living. Joy shall accompany me like a companion, and happiness shall be to me as a comrade. There is a song in my heart, singing unto the Creator of all things, and there is an invisible chorus responding through everything in nature, through every person I meet. For today, I am meeting everything with joy and happiness, with song and laughter, with gladness in my heart. I proclaim this day to be one of happiness, of thanksgiving, and of praise to the Most High God. God, the divine presence that inhabits eternity and finds a dwelling place in my own soul. Today I express joy and gratitude to this inner presence, and this presence in which I am enveloped is one living spirit of color, responsiveness, and the author of joy and peace, of freedom and wholeness. And so it is. That just kind of struck me. It's the author of wholeness and peace, the divine presence within. That is the author for each and every one of us of wholeness and peace. And things happen all around us. That flux that Josh talked about in the Science Mind Magazine Daily Guide. Things happen all around us that pull us in different directions, pull us to maybe places we don't want to go, places that we didn't expect to go, places that are not positive, they're negative. And I mentioned that, we have all of these, we have characters in our lives. They're part of the flux because the characters, they're in flux. And so what goes on in their lives and how they change and what they are becoming also changes our lives and becomes part of our flux. And the reason I'm bringing that up is what I wrote today as the object of the show. The idea of hurt people hurt people. I think we all know that to be true. And part of the work is to be clear that when I am hurt, what I want to be really clear about is that I am not going to hurt back. And I'm certainly going to try very hard not to be the one to hurt first. But when hurt people, you're going to find in your life that there's going to be someone out there that you have done wrong, maybe you know it, maybe you don't know it. And you're going to find out, and it's going to be at one level or another, it's going to be upsetting, it's going to be disquieting, it's going to be even hurtful. And then the clear path is, what do I do? What do I do to not be that hurt person who hurts? So here's what happened to me. I got a letter, a 3-page letter. I'm sorry. It's 2-sided. It's a 4-page letter. And this 4-page letter describes to me what a horrible human being I have been to a particular person during the course of that person's life, and how I have driven that person to therapy. I have driven that person to not be able to love. I have driven that person to hate me with a passion, to want to beat me, physically beat me. It went on and on and on. And it was, it wasn't as hurtful as it was meant to be. And one of the reasons it wasn't hurtful as it was meant to be is because I am 36 years sober. And I always refer to the 25 years that I abused drugs and alcohol. During that period of time, I was literally walking through the fires of hell. And I walked out the other side, and there really is no one on the planet who's going to be able to get to me, including this person who is someone I cared deeply about. I just used the past tense. Someone I still care deeply about. So I read the letter twice, and then I sat down and I typed out my reply. The reply was kind of correcting of some, what I consider to be revisionist history. It was correcting some of the animosity towards me and the hate that was directed towards me. And I wrote this letter, and it's 3 pages long, and there's actually a big addition I want to make to it. And I told my beloved Lisa that I was going to write this letter. I was going to read it 2 or 3 times, and then I was going to send it to the sender of that 4-page letter expressing their hate, animosity, and desire to hurt me. So I wrote the letter, and there's something I need to add to it. So I'm going to, and it's on my computer. I'm going to, and it's a real thing with me that you don't just write a letter like that and send it. You write it, you let it sit for a couple of days. I wrote it 2 days ago, and then you reread it, and you be sure that it's what you want to say, and that you're not being someone who is not you, who is not me in this particular case, to make sure that I am writing something that is reflective of who I am in this moment. And I do have something I want to add to the letter, and I'm going to add it. And it's a big piece, actually, of a correction of who I have been in this other person's life. And that'll go however it goes. But the thing that's changed is last night and in this morning's meditation, I was thinking that by sending my response, I am a hurt person who is hurting. And hurting back in this case, or maybe even attempting to hurt back. That's not who I am. That's not what I want to do. It's not reflective of how I present myself into the world. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to write the rest of that letter. I'm going to print it out, and I'm going to take it along with the letter that was sent to me, and I'm going to twist them together like you would if you were trying to start a fire in the fireplace with a couple hunks of newspaper. I'm going to twist them together. I'm going to take them out into the back of our property here, where we have the requisite North Carolina burn barrel, which I specifically bought because I didn't have a burn barrel. So I went and bought a 55-gallon drum, shot some holes in the bottom of it with my 38, put it out in the backyard, and you burn stuff in it. Very North Carolina, very rural. I'm going to go out there with those 2 letters, and I'm going to very ritualistically burn them. And the objective when you burn something like that is to pay attention to the burning, because when you burn something, there's smoke. And the objective for me is to always, always watch the dilemma, watch the hurt, watch the pain, watch it all just go up in smoke. And here's where that came from. Many years ago, I had a coach. He was really a friend who became a coach for me to help me with business. Funny part was he didn't help me much, but one of the things he did help me with was I came to realize through him that I had some underlying problems with my own dad, with my father, that I really didn't, they were subliminal almost. I really didn't realize them. And what he had me do was write a letter. And I wrote a letter to my father. And at the end of the letter, I forgave him for everything that I had perceived as his denials of me, his hurts of me, whatever they were, okay, real or imagined. I forgave him for all of them. Then I forgave myself for carrying around whatever anxiety they had caused me for however many years they had caused me that anxiety, forgave myself. Then I put it down. And 3 days later, I read it again. I believe I read it to my girlfriend at the time. I'm not sure if I did that or not, but that's part of the process if you want to. You read it to a spouse, to a significant other, to a friend, whatever, a trusted companion. And then I went out in the backyard and I sat down on the grass with a candle and I burned it. And I watched all of those hurts, all of those misgivings, if you will, about my dad. I watched them all go up in smoke. And every once in a blue moon, I'll revisit one of those little things. It'll pop back in my mind. And when it does, I simply refer to the fire and I just say, yeah, but I watched that all go up in smoke. And literally when I say that, the thought dissipates. That's the end of that. I don't have it in my mind anymore. So that was the purpose of what that's where they all came from. And that's what I'm going to do with this letter to this person who hurt me. I'm going to, at the end of it, I've already done this really in the initial letter. I'm going to forgive this person for trying so hard to express their hate, their animosity, and their desire to hurt me. Forgive them for that. And then forgive myself for anything I actually did that hurt them, so that I am clear that I'm forgiving them, and I have used a little bit of Ho'oponopono, the ancient Hawaiian tradition of forgiveness. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I understand there's many different forms of Ho'oponopono. That's the only one I know. Those 4 sentences. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. It works for everybody out there. It works for myself when I need forgiveness. So I've done some of that work as well. The purpose is to take the hurt, forgive the hurt, to be loving. And in the process of being loving, let it all dissipate. Let it all go away. I hope that makes some sense. Hurt people hurt people. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. There is no reason for the revenge. All the revenge serves, it's not so much revenge as it's a tit for tat thing. All that ever does is serve your ego. That's all that ever does. It doesn't do anything positive. It doesn't do anything for you spiritually. It doesn't do anything for the other person spiritually. All it's going to do is piss them off more and make them more defensive. Why? To what end? Write the letter. Forgive the person who offended you. Forgive yourself for being offended or for causing it, or whatever you think the reasons are to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Put it in writing at the bottom of the letter. Take the letter, put it aside. Wait 3 days. Read the letter again. Read it to a trusted companion, spouse, significant other, whatever, if you choose, and then go someplace, sit down with a candle or a burn barrel here in North Carolina and burn the letter and watch all of the emotional stress of it go up in smoke. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's a good lesson. I wanted to stop by and show you this. I mentioned to you guys that a couple of times that I have reinvigorated an old habit of reading 5 or 6 books at once. I had 5 I was reading. I finished 3 of them, like boom, 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 like in the course of several days without replacing them. And I still have 3 left. And I added a couple of other books to it. I think I added 3 books to it. One of them was Rachel Maddow's book, Prequel, which is An American Fight Against Fascism. I want to tell you something. I've never been a history buff. I feel like we live at a time in the United States of America, in the world right now, where fascism is definitely on the rise. And because we don't read, because we don't study real history, we study the whitewashed history that we get in schools, which is a crime. But we because we don't get that history, we don't know how things have been more or less a continuum. Human nature has not changed all that much in the last several hundred years. Okay. And fascism has been with us for a very long time. We're coming up on 100 years of fascism being in fashion, if you will. And people in this country do not realize that there is an American fascism that has been with us since the early 1920s, since before Hitler in Europe, in Germany. And Rachel Maddow does this very, very, very scholarly work here. She does all the history. She does all the research. She takes us back to the very individuals who were instrumental in the fascist movement in the United States, which was actually, there were millions of people in the United States backed Adolf Hitler. We don't necessarily know that. This is a great book. So what has happened to my thing of reading 5 books at once? It's gone by the wayside. And now I've only read 5 chapters of this. This is my kind of book. Remember, I love to read, but I'm a painfully slow reader. Chapters are very short. I'm only on like page 50 something, I think, and I've read 5 chapters. My kind of book. But it is a tremendous historical telling of the rise of fascism in this country. And not the rise, but the continuing evolution, if you will, of fascism in this country, which is going on 100 years old. So that's it for me. That's what I got for you today. I want you to always remember that New Thought Media Network is a nonprofit organization. Please go to newthoughtmedia.org. That's ntmedia.org. Click on donate. We would be thrilled beyond measure to have anything and everything you wish to bestow upon us. If you want to reach me, send me an email, teamrocketnow@gmail.com. I'm always thrilled to hear from you. You can find my beloved Lisa and I on our branded Facebook page, Vibrant Aging, which goes hand in hand with Vibrant Living right here. Remember always, please don't ever forget that this show is brought to you by HempWorks, the absolute best CBD and hemp-infused products on the planet. This is my hemp-infused coffee that I love. I can drink this coffee at this time of day, which is it's almost 4:30 here on the East Coast. I can drink this coffee any time of day. 5 milligrams of CBD in every cup, along with some chaga mushrooms, other things for your health. Love, love, love this coffee. And of course, the world's absolute, bar none, greatest CBD oil. This CBD oil is third-party validated from seed to oil. We know everything that happened to this seed from the day it was planted until the day it got put in this bottle. We know it is verified. The concentration is verified. We have a larger selection of CBD oil than you're going to find almost anywhere. We have it in broad spectrum, which is totally THC free. If you're somebody who has a rare allergy to THC, or if you've got a very, very sensitive drug test that you need to take at work or something, no THC in the broad spectrum, nothing to be detected by a drug test. And the standard legal limit, excuse me, in this country is 0.3% or less of THC. That is the full spectrum. That's my favorite. It comes in 500 milligrams, 750 milligram, 1500 milligram concentrations in more flavors than I can count for you. More flavors than you're going to find anywhere else. But it is the cleanest, purest, most highly potent CBD oil you're going to find anywhere. The rest of the products are unbelievable. We have CBD products for your pets. I have a friend, man, who had a dog that's a rescue dog, hyperactive, hates men because it was abused by a man somewhere along the line when it was younger. She got it, the bacon flavored CBD oil. She actually puts a couple of droppers on her tile floor in the kitchen, and dog laps it up and mellows out and calms down. I mean, it's just great stuff. Excuse me, great stuff. There's just so many different hemp infused products. CBD and hemp are so good for your skin, for your hair, skin, and nails, everything. Just really, really good for you. So hempworks.com/Ken Ludwig. That'll take you right to my page. Make sure you get the best prices. And I want you to know that HempWorks is part of the My Daily Choice house of brands. If you want to know more about the other fabulous products that we carry under that umbrella, go to mydailychoice.com/Ken Ludwig. I don't know why I put this up here. Haven't done anything on Instagram, and I don't freaking know how long. But if you want to find me on Instagram, it's evolving_hippie on Instagram. Once again, let's get back to the donation page here. Donate. ntmedia.org. Find me at teamrocketnow@gmail.com. As always, I am immensely grateful for the great gift of your time and your attention. I wish you all the love and all the blessings the universe has to offer. I hope you will join me every single Thursday at 2 o'clock Mountain Time, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. But until the next time, my friends, namaste.